after the 21-minute speech that he gave.
Hey man, this is Adam, tshirtradical.com. I can't get my fucking live going, so I'm making a video, but listen to this.
And everything went into the record that he said, everything that was put into the record. And it was started to be hit and downloaded on social media. And what happened was, in fact, that
I made that.
From May the 3rd.
I made it.
Oh, nice. I fucking love it.
tshirtradical.com.
Yeah.
I gotta
From
get
May
on
the
my
3rd and over the next 4 months.
There's a permanent 40% off code, but it's still gonna cost you $20. But
downloads of his speech.
Yeah, or whatever.
From May the 3rd.
tshirtradical.com, but it takes you to a site. So I'll try to make some up, and I'll order some, and then I'll bring them down and sell them. So
record.
I don't buy.
It's never been achieved before in the history of mankind.
I forgot your name already. Dee Dee. I should know that. It's my ex-girlfriend's name.
Part of the story is that on September
I was talking to Dee Dee
13th,
yesterday. She got me on her Facebook stream. These are the veterans from the Parliament Hill here.
Hey, buddy. I believe that indictments
Is everybody here?
handed down.
Just hanging out down at the hill.
Humanity, the criminal acts with respect to the COVID and the whole narration of the COVID lies and schemes.
I gotta go to the store.
Yes. Yeah.
I see David Martin talking about this stuff.
Identify the number.
With the howbadismybatch.com. Oh, sorry.
Howbadismybatch.com. Yeah, I've never heard of that, but that's
Howbadismybatch.com.
That's interesting.
4% of the batches are responsible for 80% of the injuries.
Yeah, I believe that's true. That's true. That's a true fact.
Yeah, and and that's why so many people are like, I got it, no problems. You know how many people died at the vaccination site or within 2 hours? 1,100. 1,100 people. They said sit down for 15 minutes. 1,100 people in the United States died at the site of vaccination when they got their fucking vaccine from some minimum wage employee at the Walgreens.
In case it kills you.
Like cuckoo. Anyway.
Sit down here for 15 minutes in case it kills you.
Yeah, you might die, but that's normal.
If they do die, the hospital gets paid the full amount, the $100,000.
In
a lot of money.
In the States, there was a COVID.
It's labeled a COVID death. Yeah.
There was a COVID enhancement of 39,000 US.
Her accident was labeled a COVID death.
Yeah.
Everything. That's how she was.
Probably all around Canada. So, a heart attack.
So I've been hearing about all this stuff with David Martin. I'm trying to I don't know what I'm doing here. It's not organized. I've been hearing about the stuff with David Martin. My name's Adam Cassidy. You know me, the freaking crazy guy.
We had a few conversations.
And I forgot your name.
Brian.
Brian's down here. He's the veteran down here at the hill here for the lockdown protests of this group of people.
Make sure you use the word veteran in context. I'm not a veteran.
Yeah, there's no stolen valor here.
But I'm not a veteran.
Okay. Right. Good point. It's important for sure. You're right. I should think about that. So I've been hearing about this David Martin stuff, and I've seen him testifying to the European Parliament, and then I turn on the fucking news and it's crickets. How can this guy be testifying to this degree in the European Parliament? And Christine Anderson, that member of the European Parliament from Germany, she's out there, and you see the stuff that she says. And did you see her speech when Trudeau came to speak to them, to the European Parliament, and she said, go home? She stood up in the Parliament and said, get out of here, you disgusting tyrant.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, all of this stuff, and nobody in Canada even knows about this stuff. Listen, there is stupidity and there's willful ignorance, okay?
Yeah.
And I know from growing up around these people that there's a lot of very, very, and you're schizo if you start saying this, but there's a lot of passive-aggressive people out there in the culture, and they have intentionally seeded this into our culture, this by removing spirituality, removing the idea of spiritual identity. So that your consciousness is now a product of your physical body. You're animated flesh. You're a zombie. You're not a spiritual being having a physical experience, which is the foundational belief of every frickin' religious system, every religion. You know, I was born without any, brought up with no religion, no God, right? I didn't even know about it until I was older. So when you look at these ideas, like as soon as I found out all the ideas that I was supposed to reject, everybody around me, the fucking kids I went to high school with, they still, when they're 50 years old, sound like they did when they were 14. But if you try to talk to them about what it is, like I wanted to be my dad, I wanted to be this ardent socialist until I tried to find out what socialism was so I could be the fucking most intelligent guy and win all the arguments. Unfortunately, when I started to find out what it was that we were supposed to like define ourselves in opposition to, you know, if you read the Bible, if you took all the Jesus and God stuff out of there and looked at it as a self-help book, nobody would be making fun of it, right? If it was just a lifestyle guide, it would be like, good idea, right? And I mean, we were talking about, you know, this building and the, you know, architecture and energies and stuff, and there's just, it's so fucking deep, okay? The only way that I can characterize this as somebody brought up with no religion whatsoever, the only touchstone available to me, coming from a purely intellectual, secular perspective, that can characterize anything close to the fucking entity that must be at the heart of this kind of fucking motivation, is the ancient concept of Satan that is in all religions, right? So whether it's a genuine little evil entity or an alien or whatever it is, or some alternate universe they live, reptiles, or it's just, all that kind of characterization is just metaphorical. It doesn't change the truth and the power of the idea. It's still effectively a fucking entity that they're serving, and they live only to defile God. So what we have here is an obsession with, pathological obsession with control over another being, right? And it's not control unless you're pushing at somebody where they don't want to go. So all platforms, political platforms, are pure tools to power. So all of their brands and all the shit they say, there's no accountability. They don't have to keep their promises, and it's expected that they'll lie to you. That's our culture. It's expected that politicians will lie to you. That's how it goes. It's always going to be like that. It's absurd. It's nonsense. Why? If the office is abusive, it matters not who holds it. And if the culture itself, the people in the fucking culture itself are toxic, no system is going to save it. Every system is going to be corrupted. And hopefully, if the heart of the people is pure, then there isn't a system that can corrupt them, right? And that we can't overcome. But I know that the what this is it's like an individual bunch of self-assembling fire and forget acolytes split out by our captured secondary institutions. A cult with no leader, no name, no charter, no rules, no membership list, right? Imagine you take a model of a cult, eliminate the entire hierarchy, and say all we want is the acolytes, and there's no meat. They're self-assembling acolytes. They will self-assemble around their belief system, and you can't have a leadership and a name and everything because all that stuff can be targeted. And anyway, most of that stuff is all just fake anyway, right? They have their little fake sacrifices to make you think that's what Satanism is. It's something else, right? It's like they're socialists, and behind that, they're communists. Behind that, they're Fabians. It's all fake. Behind it all, they're just a bunch of pathological fucking psychopaths who find each other in a crowd the same way that pedophiles do. Their sole motivation is control over another being. All political platforms are pure tools to power. Once in power, all policies are pure tools of acclamation to this pernicious obsession with control. And the pathology at play here is that of the psychopath, where the ultimate expression of a control is to snuff out a person's life while giving them the ultimate humiliation of gaining sexual gratification from the experience. In other words, a sexual murder is the ultimate expression of control for the psychopath over another spiritual being, right? And this is the ultimate. So like in jazz, right? In jazz, somebody plays a riff and everybody starts playing around the riff, and then the person who played the original riff, stops playing it. So nobody's playing the original riff that everybody's playing around anymore. All you're hearing is everybody riffing off the riff that you're no longer hearing. So this is what it is. You got a room full of people who all know their central riff, and they're all riffing off of it. You're at a fucking dinner party in the 70s when the doors closed and nobody has a smartphone yet, and these people are acting out this macabre play, right? They used to send me to bed at 6 o'clock at night when I was fucking 8 years old. And we had this giant staircase. I have to draw it out for you. It was like a freaking amp up to the second floor, this old freaking huge house we bought off some old lady for nothing. And if we sat at the top of the stairs, it would freaking amplify everything. And I would sit there, and if anybody came out, I'd just run and hide in my room so they didn't know I was up, right? And I would listen to these fucking people for hours. Sometimes they let me down there. Sometimes I could find an excuse to go down. But I would listen to these dinner parties for hours because I was reading the Globe cover to cover since I was 6 years old. And by the time I was fucking 11 years old, I knew the NDP were a bunch of rabid, dangerous, filthy fucking communists who wanted to kill everybody. And I freaked out, man. And they tried to put me in a fucking mental hospital. I ran away from home when I was 15. For no reason, out of spite, they grabbed my little brother because they couldn't get me and drugged him into oblivion. He still lives at Options Bytown. He's 55 years old. They drugged him until he poked out both of his eyes, after which they promoted his doctor to president of the entire Royal Ottawa Hospital chain. I got my camera pointing on the ground. This is my life, folks. My name is Adam Harry Cassidy. T-shirtradical.com, towerofbabel.ca. I'm the 50-year-old son of former Ontario NDP leader Michael Cassidy, who's the MP in this frickin' riding here that borders the Parliament Hill in Ottawa Centre right here for 20 years for the NDP. I watched Marion Dewar, Evelyn Gigantis, Richard McKenna, Joe Cassie, Sven Robinson, Marion Dewar, all of these disgusting demons plan in the 70s. We're sitting around our dinner table in the 70s talking about rebranding their false socialism in order to take control of the country and plunge it into a Soviet-style terrorist state. Now, a 51% tax base is slavery by other and any means. That's their thinking. Do you want to live in a world where more than half of your economic activity is mandated by a stranger? Why? Do you want to live in a world where there's a global cause of abortion, which is actually the actual motivation is a giant global trafficking in infant fetal body organs and tissues? That's what it's really about. They legalized abortion because they want to sell the fucking parts. Each one of those babies is worth $300,000. Oh, but don't worry, we'll pay for your abortion. Listen, all my babies died in the clinics legalized and funded by their grandfather. Is that the world you want? Now, I have my job taken away from me for medical tyranny. They won't give me service in English on the Quebec side. They cut me off my employment benefits. They said I didn't intend my employment fucking service because they wouldn't let me in the building. They said that there was no medical discrimination in the workplace, but they wouldn't let me in the building for my fucking job search. And now I'm like literally 2 weeks away from fucking homeless and starving to death. So that's your fucking country. This is what they do to their children, all right? What do you think they're gonna do to you?
They're gonna eliminate high-risk COVID cases, part of collapse, and they're gonna get rid of it because the person is evidence, and the data is also evidence. Getting rid of the both, so there's no evidence against the government. Okay, that's what they do. Part of COVID-19 operation of the system, getting rid of it because they have accepted the bribe of money and they accepted the deed of not to, which was sin and criminal, and they got it done for money. And now the government will get rid of it. They're going to eliminate you. Get it, strap up, gear up, and protect your house. Not only that, throw away your phone and move to another residence and do not let COVID or health authorities even know about that. You have the right to spill their blood back. And COVID-19 are the police, federal officers, all right? You don't trust them because they'll pretend to fake and make it look like you're going to be arrested. They've done it to me several times. It's called captivity held for ransom. That ransom, they paid off someone to get you in jail. And to prosecute you, try to prosecute, but they're going to put you in jail. They might even cut you up in jail because you're evidence, valuable data.
It's all grift. It's all grift. Their mottos are taxation as industry, change the citizen, not the system. They want to reduce our lives down to the fucking nothing. We'd be living in a communist dictatorship so that when they actually fucking spring it, we don't even notice.
Yeah, but where's Justin Trudeau? Nobody has seen Justin Trudeau. I think Justin Trudeau, what I'm hearing from a lot of people, Justin Trudeau executed himself. He shot himself.
I wish. I got like a minute left of memory
He has a
here, so
perpetrator, which is a person in disguise.
I gotta wrap this
Now,
up.
Where is he?
Everybody say hi. Fucking A,
He's a
man.
liar. We have to go to war. Let's start the protest up. We had that right.
We want our fucking country back, you Satanist pedophiles. T-shirtradical.com.
Now what you're done, mind